Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, after Game 1, which was a surprisingly clean affair for JD Gaming. They just dismantled IG to take it up 1-0 in the series. We now have question marks. We don't even know if IG are going to be able to take a game, let alone the series.
Look, I was just really happy to see, JD come in strong. We just didn't see them whatsoever during the playoffs. They didn't qualify to be in the Summer Split playoffs, but we're just crossing their fingers for BLG to mess up in the third place match. Thankfully, they're here. They looked incredibly well prepared. I think the Kindred pick in the draft entirely was actually really well done from JD.
Yeah, Kindred did fairly well, managed to give a lot of tryout to their bottom lane by just invading both sides of the map. I think with the draft that IG had, they needed to get ahead early, and their top side felt pretty weak. They are, supposedly 2 losing matchups, but because Kindred threw side of the map, they end up having top side of the map winning. But sadly, they didn't manage to get any picks. They lost the first fight against a comp that was outscaling them. So it just felt really hard for IG to play the game from level 6 onwards.
And there was a couple of fights as well where, you could see IG were trying to double down on top of Zoom. Zoom was having none of it, and he picked himself up an MVP because he was able to get 2 kills for a 3v1 dive. Guy was just a monster on this Gnar.
He pressed R.
Yeah. There we go.
With a cataclysm. He pressed R with a cataclysm.
Yes. And so, it's funny because when you have your jungler splitting the sides of the map, even if Gnar is in a pretty good matchup, he just recognized that he's right for the pickings in a gank, so he wanted to play it safe.
He recognized early that the map was traded and just went for boots straight up and then Kindle Gem. So just went to absorb the pressure, as we said earlier before the game started. So he recognized that early and just played for farm, played safe, and managed to not die. Yeah,
and so for me, what I thought was really well done from JD, because my eyes are always going towards support jungle. Facilitators to get them to mid-game, late-game team fights. And what I saw was, Fiddlestick's moving a lot. Like Lumao,
jungle,
exactly. Lumao was constantly roaming alongside his jungler. And so the fight that you were referencing early on, that was a fight that JD were pushing for vision, that they were certainly ready for. You even mentioned it during the game that Karma had already TP'd and had an item advantage over Akali at that stage.
I think it was a great start from ILG actually. They managed to find the hook. Sadly, Karma at the base beforehand, and Akali still in base before this fight, so I think IG hindsight shouldn't have taken this fight and they should have played it safe. However, I think if they played it slightly better, they could have won. Akali went a bit too early in my opinion and should have waited for Jarvan to get in, Nautilus to get in, soak up this damage, and then could have eventually won the fight, but yeah, this fight was really terrible for IG's side.
Yeah, in fact, it's funny, this is the fight that you were talking about. Just to take a look at it, item advantage is simply there for the Karma. And if you take a look at it, at the end of the day, you went in incredibly early.
Yeah, Karma just waited for the W and then Akali just died while this happened. Jarvan didn't take any damage in this fight really, so I think Akali should have been a little bit more patient and eventually they could have won this fight.
And just so people out there remember, some of the changes for Karma, LeBlanc, just the tether actually gives vision during the time in which you're in, what's it called?
Stealth.
In Shroud. So the fact that they knew the proximity of where Akali was, easily are just going to throw down the abilities that they had, the AoE, like for instance the Karma Q is going to make it easier. He just blew up. He didn't expect that was going to happen. And from that point forward, that's when you just turn your brain off. Because even if there was a certain part later on in the game where you started to see some mistakes form from JD, you still have the Kindred ultimate, and you're going to be able to play out team fights, and then that's when the big Gnar ultimate comes through.
Yeah, especially if Gnar has the form and there's Kindred ult, Gnar can just wait off the Kindred ultimate and then look to either R them away or R them into a wall, and then it just bait out so much time.
Yeah, I think that it was just a far superior draft coming in from JD.
Yeah.
And then also, this is the one that we were referring to. Kindred went in, he wanted to get the assassination on towards TheShy.
That
Great
was the
counter.
best possible fight as well for IG.
100%. And then you were still able to get Zoom off the back of the Kindred ultimate, being able to set you up to clean house. And so it sucks being able to watch this and knowing that Invictus Gaming has no way in team fights to be able to come back. I will say this, though, to the point that you made about Akali jumping in too early in that fight. Also when they were trying to get the assassination on towards Gnar on the bot side of the map underneath his own tower. Rookie this game has just been outplaying. I mean, misplaying. 2 instances where there were crucial points in which they needed to come back into the game, and he didn't get the necessary damage before they ended up diving the tower, and then so Gnar was still able to get the double kill because he just got Gnar bar. Was still able to get that HP and his ultimate to outplay, so I think this was a poor game, poor performance from Rookie.
It was just a reactionary play due to the Aatrox dying on the top side.
Yes.
They felt pressure to make a bot play, and they are not ready for it, I feel like.
And this is the exact play that you guys are talking about. You know, the fact that Zoom does get that Gnar Rage Bar immediately gives him about 300 HP to survive the burst that's coming in, which means they have to tank that extra tower shot. They end up getting too much time underneath the tower.
Yes.
And IG just, they just looked, like you said, like just not up to par.
And so for the people who are coming in fairly late or just didn't see the context of that dive, the replay ended up showing it was the chase more so towards Gnar, because Gnar still had to have a bit of a journey towards getting underneath the turret. But then you also called out during the game the fact that Akali actually didn't get much damage at all, just missed abilities on the Gnar before he even went underneath tower, so it just made it very difficult to execute the dive to begin with.
So now, obviously one thing we did highlight was the draft coming out from IG as well. So what do you want to see differently coming in? There are no substitutions, JD is going to be on the blue side. So as to start you, what do you want to see different from IG?
I don't think they'll change their game plan too much. Like they just want to have strong sideliners. I think Aatrox Akali was completely fine. What I will change eventually from this game is eventually look to swap around. I feel like from the last game, Akali would have been better against the Gnar, and Aatrox would have been better against the Karma. Jarvan will have more options to gank both of the side lanes. So just be a bit smarter on where you put your laners, look to swap around eventually if you need to. Especially if you had pressure, for example, on the top side, they could have easily swapped. Be more careful in the fights that you're going to be taking.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think the only thing from IG side that they need to change is the bot side. I don't think Ezreal and Nautilus actually works well off of the Nautilus hook. I think whenever you find a pick on towards the Fiddlesticks or anything, a Varus would make a lot more sense, so you at least have some shove so the J4 can actually follow up. Because at this state of the game, or at least how last game felt, if everything went perfectly, J4 still finds himself massively behind on the top side of the map, unless, of course, they end up trading sides.
They needed to get kills in the early game,
yes,
which was the main issue. Yeah.
So I would say Varus would be, for me, the only thing that I would like in draft to be changed.
So obviously we've talked a lot about how IG can change and how they were just outplayed. But for JDG, that was a clean game. That was super, super good. And like I said on the caster desk, the best we've seen of JDG since spring playoffs. The regular season is not their forte, and they looked solid.
Yes, clean play from support jungle. Lanes also, specifically Karma Yagao, roamed incredibly well. So not only was it the games being executed perfectly to the plan, also the draft worked insanely well. So they had a lot of time to prepare for this very event. And I know there was a lot of question marks as to if they'll even have that opportunity because of BLG. I mean, I even thought that BLG was strong enough to be able to make it a Worlds, but they looked primed and ready. My expectations, I'm glad that I didn't do predictions because I have no damn idea. What would you actually, I know you probably thought IG would take this series, but what do you feel like now?
It looks like G is just so much better, at least, and it looks like the series is just so much more gonna be about like support jungle, and I don't think the solo lanes obviously have like some type of impact, but it's just gonna be on all they can play with their jungle, and they can play with their jungle support together with the laners, right? And DG just seems to be better at that as from the last game.
And that's why my question is more on Leyan as a jungler. Because Leyan as a jungler, like, we haven't seen too much performances or too many games from him. This is literally just put him in practice and you think that he's ready to play on a major stage. That's why I have a lot of confidence on Ning, who's been on this major stage before. And even if I look at the last game and say nothing about that last game was the fault of Leyan, I still think that Ning is a player you have to be thinking about putting him into some of these games, because he has, from IG's players, the most MVPs, because he just has those pop-up performances. That's why I'm looking forward to the next few games.
I was just going to say, is like, you know, when is the timing for IG? Is it when you go 0-2? Is it go when you 1-1? Like, do you flip your trump card almost?
0-3?
Yeah.
No, 0-3, get him in, all right, send him to the stage.
But that's it. Like, when is an appropriate time to bring in what is essentially a wild card of a jungler? You could get S tier 2018 finals, you know, Ning, or we could get what we saw in the regular split, which was just very patchy.
I would say 0-2 just because you want to show confidence in the jungler that you're throwing on the stage to begin with. He doesn't want to just come into the stage and have it in his mind, I'm in a finals, and if I've had one bad game, I'm gone. I think at the same time, you just need confidence that the jungler can play to his fullest and be able to make a mistake or two, and have confidence from the laners that is like, this is the guy that I'm working with long term.
Yeah, they need the laners to be making the calls, and if they're gonna go 0-2 and they didn't manage to make the decisive calls in the early game to win their lane and snowball from there, then I assume they'll just bring him in, and he will eventually be able to make those calls that will lead them to victory.
Yeah.
Last chance kind of like trump card almost. Like, you activated my trap card and it's just Ning.
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty effective trap card, I'm not gonna
50%
lie.
chance of winning 100% or losing it.
What's funny too is that while that's fair, Flawless as a jungler, because you're still, if you're Coach Ohm, you still have a few junglers of your own. And I think Flawless is just as risky and also just a great Lee Sin player. So I think JDG, just based off of game one, already shown a completely different strategy we haven't seen in the LPL coming up until this point. And now going into game two, if anything happens, you can still bring in Flawless, who's been with Coach Ohm in the back, just having those conversations, looking at the jungle pathing. I think JDG come already into game two with a pretty large base of momentum.
And I think as well, like, what a lot of obviously viewers at home will be looking towards this game because they haven't watched the regular split, they're not really quite sure what's going on with IG. Who is your person for them to look to kind of say, this is the person to bring them back into the series?
It's a tough conversation because right now for me it's JakeyLove. JakeyLove is a constant player you need to play around, and also Kai'Sa is just the flavor of the event, right? Kai'Sa is incredibly powerful, great follow-up in skirmishes, and an even better team fighter, so I think Kai'Sa is the one to
I
go.
believe Kai'Sa is one of the key champions, however, you need to pair Kai'Sa with something. So for example, yesterday we have seen Kai'Sa Gragas a lot of times, right? And in the last game we saw Kai'Sa Karma.
Yeah.
And
so
Karsa. We saw him yesterday too.
Kai'Sa Karma, so I believe you need to pair it with something that is gonna be good for the game. And whether it's Gragas, whether it's Karma, they need to figure it out for themselves.
Yeah, and the reason why I think it's so difficult is because you're right, it always has to be someone that pairs with it, and that's why you'll look towards the jungler, someone who's a playmaker that will look for those opportunities. So it's either for me going to be jungle, or you just want Rookie to take over some of these matches. Like, that's what made Invictus Gaming such a strong team going into an international event. At last Worlds, they didn't come in as Seed 1, they came in as a team that you have to respect just based off player strength alone. And right now I'm looking at Rookie who's not performing well individually, and Yagao had a far better game one. And you're looking at TheShy who's not able to get out of lane. He still had a good laning phase in this time around.
The map was traded though.
Yes.
But the funny thing is that they picked both of their solos before last pick. So I assume they would be just swapping on mid and top lane, but they just stood with their lanes.
That's true.
And I think if they are maybe a little bit more confident about their drafts, they would eventually look to last pick something that will be hard winning and that Jarvan could play it off of, but they didn't.
You know what? You know it's a good pick in Gnar.
There is many picks.
Huh?
There are many
picks.
I was going to say, he's been in the scene a while.
Is a good one too. I was just trying to throw in the Kennen.
I mean, Kennen, Gnar can play against Kennen, and I don't think Kennen Jarvan will really be diving off the Gnar.
Unless if it was AP, then you can make good use of that.
But I think like Jace, for example, would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
And Jace Jarvan would have dove Gnar at least 1 or 2 times, and he would have taken plates. He would have been a lot further ahead.
Yeah, I think that for IG, they're definitely going to be coming back onto the stage and primarily thinking about draft, because really you don't even want to be in a position where you make one mistake and the game is over. If that's the case, then you're obviously looking towards your draft and saying, give us at least a split push option here, so if we lose in team fighting versus a team fighting squad that has a better scaling composition, then TheShy can do what he's done during the entire split and just split. Literally, that's what it is. And so I think like last pick, if they go back to red side, picking the Jace to your point into blind pick Gnar is the better choice.
Yeah, I think they need to go for just a strong foreman with just having a Jace, having whatever that is good matchup on top that can be playing a bit by itself and just have pressure and draw that attention towards him.
I think as well, like, you know, for JDG though, like, you don't really want to change anything. That draft was solid.
Yes.
Like, and Kanavi, I want to like a big shout out to him. He looked good. Like, not even just kind of passable. He looked like a fantastic. Like, I think at 20 minutes he had 7 stacks on his Kindred passive. This guy is looking very good, and I think his champion pool is deep enough that it's going to be very difficult to shut him down.
I think the core reason why the Kindred was working not just because of the priority in the lanes, but also just the Karma pick. Now, Invictus Gaming as a team, even in situations where Karma was the most go-to pick or ban, like first pick or ban champion, IG were still bad at that. They wanted to free up their solo laners. They wanted to put them on more mobile champions that have skill expression, rather than limiting them to a champion that can shove, but still needs to support another one later on in the game. So I was surprised that JDG came into game 1 with blue side, said we'll still take the Kai'Sa, and we know that they won't take Karma in their first rotation. So that's actually incredibly powerful now that Invictus Gaming are probably just going to have to outright ban the Karma or be forced to play it.
Yeah, the issue with Karma is that you can pair it with so many other champs. You can pair the Karma with Kai'Sa, for example. You can pair it with eventually Olaf. Like, as we saw in the last game, they paired it with Kindred, that is also very good. Even just Karma Aatrox or Karma Gnar, like,
or Xayah, Rakan, if that comes
anything
through
that
as
is
well.
a bit beefy, or anything that goes in, and hyper carry. So you can pair it with anything that goes in, also anything that is good enough in the backline that is gonna put up damage. So Karma is just a very strong pick and strong blind pick overall.
Yeah, Karma's the kind of enabler to a lot of different compositions that you can build around her. So like you said, taking away the Karma could be key, but then what do you leave open? That's the other question.
That's why going into this pick and ban, this is very weird. In spring finals, it was IG that by far had the strongest, you know, flexibility in the draft. They can flex about 5 things in between both of the solo lanes. This turn around, JDG is saying, well, we can actually do so much because we have the Karma that we want to play, while Invictus Gaming are locking that out for themselves. So this is going to be really fun to see, just based off of how Invictus Gaming, you know, adapt going into the second one.
Yeah,
I believe they could also like leave up the Karma, and unless they know that they can flex Karma up in 3 roles and support as well, I think they could look for something like Sejuani, Irelia, or just really play heavily towards the top side of the map that you can look to get kills for sure and win straight up 2v2s and eventually dive.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that, once again, empower TheShy as much as possible. They've always had the idea of playing towards topside, while this one was a little bit more forced because of how Kanavi had started this one out. Give him the Irelia and allow him to split push. Once again, goes back to that idea. And Irelia is a damn good team fighter as well.
and I think that's like, you know, I love all these discussions about what we want to see and what we want to kind of like see what IG adapt to and try and push them forward for. And that's why I'm excited to say, like, we're going to be doing pick bans here from the analyst desk before we send over to casters, because I really want to see what you guys think about what these picks come out for.
Yeah, I'm looking at this, and I think that JD as a squad, it's funny, because I already made a mention of that. I'm happier that I didn't do a prediction coming into this one. But obviously,
it's
I
all
thought
a bit
that
up in the air,
I thought that
realistically.
Invictus Gaming were going to take this one 3-0. Now coming into this one, I'm a flip-flopper, so I'm definitely looking at this one. I'm swapping it back because Lumao and Imp are looking incredibly strong. That I felt as though that the Fiddlesticks was played out really well with their vision control when they had complete control of both mid and top side. So I'm in a position where I say that if Imp and Lumao continue to do this, even if they're not given the Kai'Sa any longer, I think that they come into this game on an advantage, that I expect JDG to pick up this win.
Yeah, I think as well, like, you know, the agency that Fiddlesticks gave, you know, the entire team of JDG, he was much more proactive than the Nautilus. He had a lot more priority to basically help his jungler, and I'm just curious to see, you know, how they kind of go over it as we jump into pick and ban. And right now, I see straight away. Yeah, I was going to say the Kai'Sa getting banned.
The next go-to play is always going to be the Lucian here for Imp. So the Lucian blind pick, though, is going to be a surprising one. I would expect it, as you already mentioned, to go to bot lane. There are a few teams. In fact, Invictus Gaming tends to swap this between both mid and bot lane, but I wouldn't expect that whatsoever for him. He just doesn't want to be taken away from him.
They already went for the Jace.
Are you on comms with them? Are you like just like messaging them? Just like, you know, hey man, I'm up on the thing. I'll go Jace. We got this.
Hey, remember actually, IG flexed this one out a lot. So the reason why they would early prioritize it, first of all, they don't want it to be banned in second phase, but
It's
also wants to give the option for rookie here.
It's a really good pair with the Gragas as well because you want AP damage in case. So it gives option still for rookie that you can still go for double AD like Jace Irelia, and then you pair it with Gragas and you have.
Yeah.
I like it.
I was going to say, you talked about the priority. Yeah, I was going to say, you talked about the priority. We talked about how the Olaf can be paired up with that Karma. JDG do just that. So that means that kind of mid-jungle combination is going to be huge for JDG.
Also super strong early on, especially against Gragas. Olaf with Karma shields can basically just 1v2 Gragas plus anything on mid/top.
How do you feel about the Karma versus Jace matchup? If the Karma goes up against the Jace, especially with the Olaf pressure, you just lose the 2v2, of course, right?
It's a pretty dead lane. For Jace,
yeah.
Karma have options, but Jace cannot do that much in the early part of the game. However, in the mid game, Jace should be winning depending of items that he goes for. But Olaf is going to be really strong for top side of the map at least.
And right now we're seeing a lot of focus towards those support bans. The Fiddlesticks banned away, the Morgana as well. Both JDG and IG trying to give the Lucian and Ezreal some kind of a decent laning phase.
All right, I mean, if I'm IG, you're still technically looking towards... I can't even say Rakan here because I don't think it would make... I said Braum. I think a Braum would make a lot of sense with the Ezreal. Then you have at least some possibility to work around with double AD, and mostly because of the Jace here and skirmishes. That's something that I would look towards. You already have a Gragas to engage in fights. You don't necessarily
I would
need
like
to engage
to see
in support.
Braum for JDG.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense too.
Because I think Braum is really good against Gragas overall.
Yes.
And I think it's okay against Alistar. Like,
yeah,
I would
locked
really
in.
like to see a Braum coming up from JDG.
I agree. I actually think going into the Alistar puts you in even a worse position because.
And you want some frontline.
I don't know. I feel like JDG.
Aatrox Morde plus Braum will straight up win the draft for me, honestly, for JDG.
Like, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking that Lucian Braum, ooh, this one's also good. We've been actually seeing a lot of the times Volibear being picked into the Alistar for the same idea. But at the end of the day, I look at JD's bot side and say that the Lucian has a lot of room to look to skirmish. Then you have the Olaf Karma. So once again, JD looks to be prioritizing pretty heavily towards the early game and forcing fights. IG probably has a good top side. We still need to see the counter pick.
Still waiting for that one there. Leona, good engage.
Very disappointing.
Oh, you're sad about that one there. But Leona, good engage. Kind of ticks some of the boxes that you wanted there, but a lot more aggressive for that bot lane. That bot lane with Lucian Leona is going to be a kill lane.
I don't think he can really get into the Ezreal, so that's why I don't really like
you don't rate it that highly?
that much.
I would, once again, going back to the Braum, I think Braum works really well to play through front to back, so it's much easier to deal with the Alistar and then deal with the Gragas immediately afterwards. If you're looking at IG's composition, that is not tanky whatsoever. I'm a lot more happier with JDG being able to pincer towards the back and deal with the Alistar first. How do you feel about it?
Looking at draft, I think it's just gonna be tough, top side of the map for IG. I'm still waiting to see whether they are putting Akali top or
yeah, it seems like it.
Or mid. It looks like it was Akali top lane.
Yeah, they could try and swap the players, end up getting a matchup. So
they could look to swap, but I think regardless it will be hard.
All right, quickly before we toss the casters, after seeing the drafts, Raz, who are you going for?
I definitely like JD's early. I think bot side should be good here for JD's.
You know JDG?
I will go for IG just because they didn't pick bomb.
There we go. All right, we got it. We're going to send it over to Hysterics and Clement to bring us into game 2.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. And I like that. So I said at the beginning that the bottom lane will be hard to dive, that the bottom lane is almost unkillable with the Ezreal Alistar. Got to agree, but we're seeing Lumao's Leona, his most played support once again.
That's another champion that you can walk underneath tower without any fears with that, with the Eclipse on you. You are so goddamn tanky.
Yeah.
And I think you're going to get priority in mid as well with the Karma and Olaf. So personally for me, I do favor JD Gaming's composition. Their 4v2 dive potential is still extremely high.
I like that the desk was split, that, you know, Raz was sitting much with IG, if I'm not mistaken, JDG there as well, towards the top side. Now, Mordekaiser, Olaf, strong champions in the past, And because we haven't had any roster changes, we're going into another game where momentum is on the side of JDG, where they crushed IG in 25-minute fashion. Let's see how IG respond heading into game 2.
And we're seeing a very similar setup coming into this one. JD Gaming venturing in for an early ward over the wall and trying to set up that vertical jungle once again.
I know you're talking about it before, so that's crucial. Imp does the same over towards the blue buff. Defensive wards here from IG towards that bottom side as well. So let's see where Kanavi starts. He had a big impact on the Kindred in game number 1. He's now on the Olaf, where in the LPL, if you out there watching don't know, Olaf is the best jungler with the best win rate. And Kanavi, now starting with the vertical jungling, is going to show us why.
Yeah, exactly. Olaf, you can power farm, get a lead that way, and it's also great at hunting down kills in the bottom lane. If you want beef for dinner, this is the perfect comp.
Oh my god, starting early is Lumao, but JakeyLove able to get some trade backs. But you were speaking of beef, the Cal able to push them off a little bit. However, Clement, I'm going to return to this point. Kanavi spotted out by a Waters. Yeah, pause. He's on our blue buff. Get him off.
So, unfortunate situation right here. We are going to have a bit of a delay. And just showing some player chess right there.
Some player chess.
That was where the camera was panning at.
I mean, it's a player camera. You see all of them, Clement.
For a brief moment right there. I just want to note on this game, I think the most disastrous start that IG could experience is actually a kill happening in the top side. Because I actually agree with Soaz on this one. Alistar plus Ezreal is incredibly hard to dive. It's much harder to dive than previously in game 1 compared to what the matchup was. So one way that JD Gaming could actually play this out is make sure that their Mordekaiser can have a comfortable position in the top side. That matchup without jungle intervention should favor the Mordekaiser earlier on anyway. So if we see a gank happening onto the top side, that's actually a potential out for JD Gaming as well, and it really puts a lot of pressure points here. IG need to think about the entire map, the potential ganks that are coming in. They can't get that ball rolling that fast.
That's why it's a concern, right? Because Leyan in game number 1 wasn't really that active, and if it relies more on IG's jungler to be impactful, to be respectful of how the lanes could go to JDG, well, then it tests him once again that he deserves to be here, that he deserves to be filling the shoes in game 2 over Nick.
The problem with Leyan and Baolan these days is that neither one have been great at initiating, and that pressure often falls into the solo laners themselves. We've been seeing Rookie and TheShy being the ones to stand out and actually start fights most of the time these days. And that's not always a great situation because they're also the carries on your team, and you can't risk them dying that early on. So we are seeing kind of the issues that IG have been played with this split, and just the inexperience coming in from some of the support players.
But now that we're back on Summoner's Rift, we finally get to see that matchup play out. Now, we're having a quick look over the Mordekaiser. I'm sure we'll be able to get to talk about that in a second as IG's bottom lane once again respond to the all-in from the Leona. It's going to be a trade and nothing more as Kanavi still towards that bottom side will go to his own buffs.
Yep, that was JD Gaming just trying to bait out a initiation and, you know, pair that up with the Olaf. Of course, IG didn't bite. Usually in the matchup between Leona and Alistar, it's whoever actually engages second wins.
He went for a journey now for Lumao. Just wants to make sure Baolan can't send it back.
Yeah, that's usually what happens in the trade is basically the person that is counter-initiating gets the better trade in terms of the HP bars. So, you know, JD Gaming do this a lot with their bot lane. They just engage on you every time they have a cooldown, and they wear you down in terms of your awareness. You're just like, oh, they've always been doing that. You take a fight, and suddenly Kanavi's there.
I like the big brain plays, the 500 IQ behind that, Clement. We'll see a blue buff being taken here by Leyan as well. And now that we've kind of calmed down from the all-in trades towards the bottom side, I do want to bring up Zoom's rune choice here of the fleet footwork into this top lane.
The most important reason that Zoom is taking this setup is he knows that he's going to be playing on the weak side. So he just wants to keep his HP bar full, make sure that he is never diveable. That's the entire thought process behind that. You see the overheal and the fleet footwork right there. He's not trying to go for trades. He's willing to lose CS to TheShy, and he's just thinking about the later game, thinking about the scaling portion. He knows his role.
I'm curious to see what the build to go with it is as well, because yesterday, if my mind is not mistaken, who was it in the top lane, Clint? Was it Gimp who picked up the Nash's Tooth in Game 4 on the Mordekaiser? And that was something fun to see.
Yeah, that was very different. I think he did that because they were in a poking situation and the cooldown really benefited, but typically you do see the rallies before
He
you go
was
for
dueling a lot of people, and he was attacking pretty damn fast. So, adaptations for the Mordekaiser build. We'll see what gets picked up here. As you mentioned, Zoom is already 10 CS behind in that lane, while we look mid where Kanavi is right now, who's about to get spotted out by that ward. The mid lane Karma is equal with Rookie right now on the Jace, but Kanavi, he doubles back. Rookie's still there and wants to take the all-in, but I'm not sure if I recommend this. Rookie may have support coming through, but the Olaf is still big.
Yeah, that's the mid-jungle priority that we're seeing right here coming out from JD Gaming. Olaf plus Karma has a ridiculous win rate in the LPL, and this is a common sight. The two with double speed buffs chasing people down it's so hard to deny them camps, and I think IG, this is going to be a persistent issue. With an inexperienced jungler, it's so damn hard to cancel out a vertical jungle.
Yeah.
You really need to know all how the game flow really is, and it's not something that you see in solo queue play that much. Teams in solo queue don't have the coordination to pull that off.
It was that timing of the mid lane window. Rookie backed away, Gragas was by himself, the Karma moves to Wolves, and Olaf starts the vertical jungling you're mentioning once again. Kanavi picks up everything from that side, and now he's going to get a Cloud Dragon on this team.
And I do want to point out that we're seeing Yagao just trying to extend his lane priority as far as possible. He's actually going to be going for most likely what is an Iceborne Gauntlet build.
In the mid lane? Yeah. Hang on. Pause for a second, Clement. Yep, goodbye. Kanavi going to burn his flash at the Trade of a Dragon, so at least one good window there from Leyan.
And Yagao, of course, still has the teleport in the Summoner selection, so he's looking to extend this as maximum as possible, and we're going to see that point come in where Yagao's going to be able to leave lane, the 4v2 is going to happen, and it's going to come down to IG using teleports to kind of save their situation.
Yeah, but look, the bottom lane roamed up here. Imp and Lumao move up because Yagao couldn't. Yagao forced down the mid lane as Rookie doesn't burn the flash, but he hits level 6. He knows he has a bit of extra power, and Yagao now getting pushed against as Kanavi joins up for the fight too.
Very strong play from him, lands a bunch of skills on Rookie, and we have to mention that Jace is just one of the scariest champions that IG can pull out.
Normally
They've always been playing it. Yeah, definitely one of the top bans. I just want to say that TheShy has never lost in the LPL when he gets Jace.
Okay, well, it's Rookie this time, so I'm curious. The flash burn here from Yagao. Ignite ticking, but he will not die. The wave going to be pushed in, and Leyan now can start going up against Kanavi, even with the level disadvantage.
Big difference happening right here. TheShy getting a favorable trade in the top side
scared.
as well.
I heard you pause for a second, Clement.
That was pretty ballsy from Leyan. I like that. Just keeping Yagao honest in that one.
Yep.
And this is going to be very different from Game 1. We're finally seeing IG get some of the superior trades with their power picks in lane this time. So if that can overflow into the jungle, they can shut down a lot of the potential plays that should be coming in from JD Gaming on bot side.
And the opinion right now of Leyan is to move towards that bottom side, while Kanavi now transitions to the top lane. Zoom does have the ultimate available, but so does TheShy.
Yep, they were just waiting for TheShy to actually use the ultimate, but they didn't get that baited out. And TheShy definitely is suspicious. He's thinking, wait a minute, why is TheShy taking that trade with me?
Yep, Zoom's going to back off, doesn't have teleport, so we'll have to walk to lane here, while for Kanavi, we just go from one vertical side to the other. We're getting a red buff this time. The Olaf, who's already 20 CS up over the Gragas, is level 6 now. Ready to fight, ready to rumble. We'll see what this back entails, because the Warriors should be pretty close to getting there.
And we have to mention the amount of camps that actually has been stolen away. Leyan tried to equalize on the Raptors, was stopped by Yagao, and most of the CS lead is actually coming from IG's jungle itself. So this is a pure CS lead that's not being traded back. And honestly, I think that Karma, if Yagao doesn't take the bad trade like they did before, they should still have mid-jungle priority.
I'm just curious, as you mentioned earlier on, that Yagao with the build, with the Iceborne build, is changing things up in this second game. You don't have the pure hyper carry out of Imp, but you still have illusions, so we'll see how Yagao mends into this composition moving into the mid game, but for now, you're also right, behind in CS in that mid lane, along with the top side.
Yeah, we've seen the Olaf versus Jace kill a lot of times, and it's actually incredibly easy to chase down. Once you hit level 6, Ragnarok goes in. The Jace cannot knock you back after that. He can only try to burst you with pure damage, and that doesn't usually work out when the Karma's the mid laner too. So Rookie's going to have to start playing a lot more respectful when he's coming into the mid lane. With the speed up, it's actually very easy to just chase you down and get a kill.
That's very true. You can see when he went towards the top side, the Olaf that is, IG dropped a couple of control wards up towards the Pixel Brush, up towards the Rift Herald area. So now they have control there. Now for Leyan, he can push into the blue side jungle, with Rookie also pushing out the mid wave.
A much calmer game this time around, and I think the next big step for IG is just to secure that Herald. Both of their solo lanes are in very comfortable position. It's over 30 CS lead between both of them right now.
True.
So that should be the next engaging point, and you're seeing Lumao respond to that. This is what I love about Lumao. They love fighting around Herald. They really use Herald as a way to start mid-game skirmishes, and they surprise people a lot of the time, especially with this Cloud Drake and Moby boots.
Ooh, he has Solar Flare, Clement. Lumao's gonna lock it down. Tether. No way you're getting out of that. And JDG do it again with another first blood.
Yeah, that was the play that I was talking about. And unfortunately for Rookie, even though he did spot out on the control wards that Lumao was coming in, he forgot to factor in Kanavi coming from the other side as well. And that Herald play that should have went to IG based on their lanes now goes to JD Gaming.
Straight into it. Now the Scuttle Crab Vision is going to be able to spot out Kanavi and the HP, the control ward to follow up, which they have no concern about. They don't care. Ward over the side, they see Leyan backing off. And Kanavi once again looks like the better jungler, as that Rift Herald will be the question of where it goes.
I think we're seeing the problems with Ezreal just as a pick overall. Throughout both of the game's days, we're seeing Ezreal not really work out on the strong side or the weak side.
Right.
Because he doesn't have the wave clear, he can't play defensive enough when he's on weak side, and he can't play aggressive enough when he's on strong side. And I just think that teams should drop Ezreal. I don't think in an LPL environment where early mid-game is so damn important that you really want this, you know, doesn't have wave control, needs to scale up on tier champion a lot of the times. I don't really see him as a good defensive option. I'd rather play something much more aggressive and play them defensively. I still think Varus is probably even better than Ezreal, even while playing defense.
I mean, that's fair, and a lot of people will be questioning why you're talking about Ezreal when we're just looking towards the top side where we saw such a big play for JDG, but you're right, there's so much freedom for Lumao.
Yeah.
There's freedom from the bottom lane that is really not threatening from IG.
Look what happens when Lumao leaves lane. He loses nothing. Nada. Like, the turret plating's still completely there.
It's like Baolan's a threat, but the Lucian just relentless pursuits away.
Yeah, and it's just because you don't have the pushing power in the bot lane, and it allows the enemy supports to just go haywire on the map.
Good point. So you're right. Lumao starts making the roam again, comes back to lane. The jungler now down here as well, and there's just so many threats.
Oh, and I just want to say sorry. It is the Zeke's convergence being brought out by the Karma. Of course, you don't see the
But hang on.
without
I mean, that seems even rarer as a very first item. We always see the Athenes. We always see the Ardent.
Yes.
Zeke's convergence, while it makes sense, is rare as a priority first.
Yeah, this is a very heavy build, basically, into synergizing with Olaf. So what happens here is if you pop your ultimate, then you get a slow field as well, as you're seeing right now.
Yeah,
it also gives burn damage to Olaf. So that two-man combo between Karma and Olaf becomes basically the strongest two-man you can ever find right here.
Okay, that's a good point. Ragnarok's going to be burnt, though, and while the Zeke's convergence was already used here with the ulti of Karma, JDG still want to re-engage. Lumao walking into the Shroud. Zoom has even joined up as well. 4 members mid, 80 carries are not.
Yep, I love how respectful Kanavi played that. Flash Ragnarok, all burn at the same time. No chance for TheShy to get a stun and catch him in that position. There was a potential explosive cast that could have brought him back, so Kanavi did have to play very respectfully in that one.
You have to at this point. TheShy still has the ulti, and that's a Gunblade on the Akali with a 30 CS advantage. TheShy showing his stuff in this game, and looks like we might finally get out a game out of the top laner while Rift Herald to the mid lane.
Solo kill in the
Hang
bottom
on
side.
a minute. Ezreal can shift the way. We missed that one. That is game impactful. Rift Herald's going to go through the mid lane. Imp getting the kill, getting turret plating. JDG then rotating Baolan low. This is not good for IG.
No, and JD Gaming are chipping down 2 towers at the same time. No defensive capability from IG. Akali needs to come in and save this.
I mean, Rookie needs to do something. Double bomb here from Leyan. The flash instantly burned. Baolan comes in as well. IG firing back as Lumao forced the flash. JakeyLove teleports in. IG defend the mid lane, and because of the pressure, Imp has to back away as well.
Wow, Leyan was so damn on point in that one. And wait a minute, TheShy.
Oh, solo kill for TheShy. IG now online in the matter of a minute.
Papa Shy bringing it back in for IG, finally getting that solo kill. I love the way he's been commanding the lane so far. He's been holding up onto his own side of the river, right in front of his tower, and that's just denying Zoom so much CS. We saw the CS lead basically didn't budge.
We need to see this because this pretty much made the game until IG came back.
Wow.
Oh my lord.
Just the extra speed boost. He used the Blade of the Ruin King to get the extra speed boost from the W as well, and just watch this from Leyan. All the abilities perfectly on point, and good combo with the Alistar coming in.
Yeah. So we finally get to see something of Leyan. This is the beginning of the IG we were talking about. Making a play, playing the aggressors, and now 2 kills on the Gragas. So we get a game 2 finally that hasn't run too far away.
Yeah, and that's a good showcase of what Leyan can do, because we were talking about that usually he does not play initiation role.
Yeah.
That play was all Leyan, so that's a great sign for IG that the rookie can do something like that.
Leyan, Rookie added his impact in there as well. And now for the jungle Gragas, he's caught up quite a bit. Kanavi was running away with the CS, the jungle lead itself. So we move into a mid-game with even odds here as TheShy is just destroying Zoom under
Yeah, and I want to point out that TheShy has ballooned this free CS lead from 20 to 40 in a matter of 3 minutes. This is a very smart way, and we don't see players do this enough, but he's doing a hard freeze into his lane and just using that 2-level lead to then pummel the Mordekaiser.
It's so quiet up in that top lane. TheShy almost has the ulti, so get ready for the 2-level lead to really hit down on Zoom. While we see JDG positioning for the fight, positioning around the mountain that'll be coming up in 25 seconds.
It's very important for JD Gaming to actually keep HP bars healthy on Kanavi. He's probably dealing the most damage in these team fights if it does come down to it. So you can see Kanavi is not facing check that much. He's trying to keep his HBR open for the potential Drake fight.
All right, 5 seconds, here it comes, but look at TheShy onto Zoom. Every time Shuriken Flip lands, expect TheShy to take it all. At least Zoom has his first item, so that's something, right?
Yeah, TheShy just played this so damn smart. He was forcing Kanavi to go towards the top side and try to help the Mordekaiser out. When that help didn't come through, he was able to take control of the lane. Very solo queue style, but it worked.
Zenith Blade almost connects there onto Baolan. Each team getting frisky towards this dragon. Baolan has X-Flash, remember, so he has a way to find himself into the pit.
IG really can't take this coming in from a flanking position. JD Gaming have too much speed to choose which flank they want to play.
Clement, I'm saying because the top lane has teleport. One's going to be more impactful than the other. We start the fight with the solar flare, but suddenly Kanavi's already taken down. That's a great culling from him, but now he has to kill TheShy, who just cleaves through to IG. Don't even let JDG have a turn.
Completely decimated right there. That was such a good TP, and it wasn't answered by Zoom. Zoom was so chunked out that he couldn't join the fight, while TheShy with his sustain, with his Hextech Gunblade, was able to come in, stay healthy, pick off the necessary targets. I felt like JD Gaming actually was, they had the better, kind of turn into a catch onto IG, but IG played that so damn well. I believe Baolan came over through the wall as well to surprise JD Gaming, so they pull off the miracle flank to take that Drake.
And all they get out of it for JDG is killing TheShy in the end. That 1v1 in the top lane sets it all up. Zoom can't join. TheShy teleports in. It's all downward here from JDG.
Yeah, that was so well done. Baolan's angle was perfect as well. Forces Kanavi to pop his ultimate early. And TheShy, damn, what this man can do on these high mechanical skill ceiling champions like the Aatrox, like the Akali, is disgusting.
JDG down in gold. IG have the gold lead for the first time in this series, it feels like. We've got 2.5K on the red side with big bounties on the Akali, the Gragas, the Ezreal now, who, Clement, I know you were talking about criticizing, has moved into this mid-game with the rest of IG. We'll see how this mid-game goes, because remember, IG, they want to take the engage here. Baolan and Leyan sitting over the wall.
The itemization is here to start to fight for JakeyLove. He's going much more for the damage build, syncing up with that mid-game spike coming in from the Jace as well. And I think IG, they're moving themselves into a very comfortable 1-3-1 position. The Jace is pretty difficult to deal with on this item power spike alone. It's not really about the CS lead.
Ooh, but Lumao goes for a roam, might be caught out. Kanavi goes in, Soulflame comes down, JakeyLove in a lot of trouble, but destroyed by a true shot barrage. IG have already found their pick, and Zoom comes in a little bit late, but into the death realm he goes with Rookie. However, Rookie looks pretty damn big in there, dodges away from the grass. He'll die in the end, but Zoom comes out to his death. Imp trying to fight TheShy, cleaves through in the backline. A messy fight of the style of the scrap metal yard that is JDG. Walking forward, JakeyLove and TheShy take it all, and that came down to one play, one bit of health.
TheShy came from behind tower to clean that one up. The most unexpected angle possible. And then JakeyLove, they take their turns. They're taking the aggression, taking turns, taking damage, and they finish off the entire play. That was all down to mechanics right here, and that's what we wanted to see from the Mosh Pit teams coming in.
JakeyLove hit every bit of ability, and watch this, Kanavi's like, I'll take him down, but he gets destroyed by the Ezreal ulti.
Yep, we do see Rookie having to drop into that team fight, and Zoom, I believe, does pick out Rookie from that one, just trying to take him in. Watch TheShy as he comes through the enemy tower and dodges out on Zenith Blade to get the perfect assassination on Yagao, and then just the two-man gameplay was amazing. Oh my god. Look at TheShy on his footwork. He hits the passive, walks back away from the Q on Leona, and gets the distance for the assassination. He then baits Imp forward as well. JakeyLove comes in with the red to finish it off. That was insane play from TheShy.
And now they're hyper stacked. Look at IG, they want to fight again. Leyan comes in immediately, Imp is gone. Rookie joins as well. True shot barrage of the ages. Zoom may find one, but again, the fight is over before it's begun.
And what a difference it makes when Leyan is able to have agency, make an impact on the map. I prefer him on this Gragas. He's just doing so much better compared to the previous game.
IG with the wave cleared out, sure, might not be able to push the turret, but look at the poke. Yagao regretting being born here in game 2. And IG with an almost 5K gold lead. Now have Baron up, have a Dragon spawning in at 15, have the deep vision to start finding more picks.
We're going to see more of those pokes coming in from JakeyLove. This is his style. He plays super aggressive in the front line, and he knows even if he's killed, he still has 2 Korean imports and Rookie and TheShy to back him up. He's used to playing that style, and he's well suited up for it as well. He already has the QSS in tow. Leyan comes in from the side, has the sweeper popping on the meantime, so he knows he's not spotted. Imp dies instantly. The trade back kill does come through, but the damage is already done.
All right, Clement. A series on our hands. I'm not sure, but IG are making a case that it was just the game 1 warm-up. It was returning to the stage. That the IG we're going to see in this second game is towards their peak. TheShy 5-1 and 2, remember. Morel and Omicron picked up second. Zonya's on the way. But for JDG, they're not out of this just yet. Waiting for the bait in the pixel brush and the side brush. IG need to be careful.
They do have a lot of poke options, so I don't think IG will fall for this trick.
Oh my lord! Cameraman, he's getting caught out here because TheShy is decimating Zoom.
That was underneath tower. That was nasty.
That's why he didn't expect it. He's like, he'll be fine this time around. Now IG turn for the fight with the numbers advantage. Lumao with the Zenith Blade in the Soul Flare. Land, JakeyLove gets burnt down. Over the wall, Kanavi finds the snipe with the undertow. JDG find an advantage. Now onto Baolan. The jungler dies anyway. Lumao gets back on in as if he's still alive, but he can't deal with TheShy, who runs in, sandwiches JDG, and IG take it all again, and they'll get the Baron with it.
That was a 5v4 that IG knew if they could start the fight, even if they lost members at the start of it, TheShy was going to come in and mop that one up. JD Gaming, they needed to respect IG a little bit more. They needed to respect the potential that TheShy coming on the flank would cause an ace. They hung around the area, and Baolan finds the perfect pick.
You find yourself the shutdown on the Ezreal. It feels good. You think you can keep on going. Then TheShy joins. Rookie sandwiches with him. And IG, 8K gold lead. Baron in hand here in this second game.
Just not enough damage from the squad of JD Gaming anymore to keep up, but let's watch this solo kill first. That was 2 5-point strikes coming in from TheShy.
He just runs at him. Oh, no.
Wow. Wow, just perfect execution right there. Dodge out all of the abilities that he needed to. This was a fight that IG was willing to start, even if they took losses. They knew that TheShy was en route. Look at him on the minimap. He closes off the gap perfectly, and Imp cannot find the sunlight to take himself out of that corridor. He falls down to TheShy. It's all IG from this point on.
All IG, all TheShy, it seems. Another double kill. Ocean's going to go over. It is not as meaningful at this point, but just part of the package that IG have been taking away. By the way, I need to point this out. 70 CS this time around for TheShy versus Zoom. 3-level lead. And this is scary. He can dive him again in or outside of the death realm.
Yeah, that's such a great way to play on the strong side of the map. You don't always have to dive a tower. You can freeze the wave as well. And as TheShy showed, it's a really good way.
Well, while he's kicking butt down the bottom lane, he's going to be pushing this turret. In fact, the Baron's still pushing through the mid lane. IG have it all, playing the 1-4. As Zoom's going to find the pull in here. JDG still want to poke them down, but seems a difficult task. Turret will go down by TheShy as well, and now 2 inhibitor turrets exposed.
At this point, IG has the range advantage and the damage advantage. They can play it very, very slow and just wait for the damage to pile on onto JD Gaming. They're not going to initiate, they're just going to poke.
Another wave's coming in for TheShy as well. I mean, this cannon minion is doing the dirty work, but they have to send more than just Zoom.
It's down to JD Gaming to start the fight before their HP bars just run out. They do have Leyan with the initiation.
TheShy just walks up. Kanavi, should you be there? The answer is no. TheShy, number 9, looks for the perfect execution through them all. Will go golden right in the middle. Flashes away just in time, but the explosive cask is there. Baolan jumps back in, and it stands no chance. IG want to end it here. Zoom goes into the death realm, but Leyan uppercuts him with a barrel. Rookie shock blast at the Nexus. And IG have gotten another ace, and they're going for that Game 2 win.
JD Gaming are going to be decimated here in much the same fashion that happened in Game 1. Congratulations to IG. Welcome back, TheShy, and welcome back, Leyan, to the playoffs.
Well, hello. We got a series, folks. IG are not going to sit down. They're not going to take it. And 1-for-1, Clemenchu. This is where it begins.
It was all starting from the top side. Such a smart way to play from TheShy. I was watching the CS leads there. TheShy had a 20 CS lead, and then he froze the wave right outside of his tower for multiple minutes, multiple waves, and that ballooned into a 2-level advantage, into a 40 CS lead. It was not answered back by Kanavi, and then TheShy was able to get solo kills. That's when the dam really broke.
Our focus was on that vertical jungling in the early game. On Kanavi towards the bottom side, what it would mean. You talked about the shadowing of Zoom and trying to make sure that Akali didn't run too far out. Well, nothing could be done. Kanavi fell back into his place. Leyan stepped up, and the rest of IG with him.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a massive JD snowball when they got that solo kill into the bot side. But Leyan finally was able to display that he can be an initiator as well. He can do things that he can't do on other champions with the Gragas, which is a big difference. Sure. I think JD Gaming will have to consider taking away such a massive performance enhancer coming in onto Leyan.
Well, series. IG are not just gonna. What's the word I was looking for?
They're not fizzling out. They're
not
going
fizzling
to bow
out,
down.
and we're not getting that rinse and repeat of the LNG series where IG didn't look they had anything to say whatsoever. So this is a good sign. But for JDG, you know, they struggled in that second game when IG hadn't answered to the side lane. The weak side of the map wasn't there, or rather, wasn't there for Zoom, who didn't really have a game at all.
Yeah, he couldn't play much. He was kind of left on his lone. And it's really important to recognize that there are more ways to play the strong side than one. He really needed some help from Kanavi to kind of unfreeze the way for him, getting bounce in back so he could at least farm up in that situation. So I think the game plan from JD Gaming, once again, I really like their game plan. However, I don't think they pushed the mid-jungle advantage enough. This time, it was broken up by what Leyan and Rookie was able to do. We saw Rookie finally getting a couple of good trades onto the Karma with his armor penetration.
Much more stable
spike.
game from Rookie, I'd say.
Yeah, he didn't over-aggress into the enemy jungle, take bad fights or anything like that. So he kept it stable. The bot lane didn't really collapse at all. And then they were able to just say, hey, you know what? We have TheShy. We win.
But I think now, if you're JDG, you look at that and go, well, the Akali feels like it's a dangerous pick to give over to IG. It can be flexed. And IG play so well through their solo lanes that it's a risky maneuver to give back to TheShy.
Yeah, very dangerous on that one. I think JD Gaming are still going to come in with the same game plan, but it really is about coordination with your jungler this entire series.
I mean, at this point, Kanavi, you know, you look at him and you go, great game 1, game 2 needs to recover. We'll see what happens going towards game 3 as we throw back to the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, guys. And what a way to come back into a series. And we talked about a pop-off performance. If there was anyone who had a pop-off performance, it was TheShy. That guy was a monster.
Woo! All right. That one escalated quickly, so as.
Yeah, they just waited for the gunplay power spike.
I will say, Soaz literally turned around to us as we were watching the game, and he goes, TheShy is going to get a solo kill top. And about 30 seconds later, it was just like
about
solo
like
kill.
About a minute.
A minute, but you were still pretty close on your mark. You just looked at the
as soon
items.
as I just looked at the base that he got, and he got his gunblade. I saw the Mordekaiser items. And I was like, okay, this guy is going to solo kill pretty soon.
Yeah, I was really surprised because from the bot side of the map, JDG were progressing very well. I think that they had, not only were they able to get the solo kill, specifically the Lucian, Imp got a great kill on the bot side of the map. They'd been pressuring towards mid. I think they themselves weren't making the right choices on how to open up the mid.
It felt like they got lost. They had a good game plan, and the Karma and the Olaf were invading bot side jungle, and at some point they just got focused too much on mid. They got like a really great pick on the Jace with the Leona roam at some point, and then they just overforced too much on mid instead of putting the Karma and the Olaf towards bot side. I felt like they should have gotten that bottom turret first and then eventually look more towards like mid or top side of the map, whatever they wanted to focus on, whether it was Herald or it was mid turrets, and go back to bot. And yeah, they just got lost on mid like at some point.
For me, yeah, 100%. Either follow the AD carrier or let the AD carrier follow you.
He even got a solo kill on the Ezreal.
Yeah!
And then they went to get mid turret and
What
just
the hell?
died.
I was so upset because there was a literal fight where if you're just looking at, I'm not even saying Fog of War, they had this information. Akali was going to take top lane tower, bot lane was just going to be overrun by minions. Okay, Imp was like, all right, 1 second, I'm going to get the minions. And you're like, okay, see ya. Go. I was like, what the hell is you? Imp is doing so well in this game, but at all times they were fighting without him, or they were simply not moving towards him when they were stagnating mid. So even with the Akali kind of snowballing, Zoom was fine. If you're like top lane
He's
looking
playing
down,
Mordekaiser. He will just do his job regardless in team fight.
yeah. And so I was surprised where he was looking bot and saw nothing happening. Literally just stagnation and then bad plays from JD. So that for me is concerning because you chose the Leona for a reason. And now kind of goes back to the draft that we were talking about of what would you choose instead.
If they wanted to fight off on mid, they could have also put the Lucian mid and let the Karma just go off and catch it and eventually move after catching, right?
Yes.
But they just played without their Lucian, which was their strongest member. So.
Yeah, and then it gets awkward for the Leona because then at that point, who do you end up trying to catch? Are you going to go for the Ezreal? Well, they tried. Ezreal just blinked out, and then you're in an awkward position. Do you go towards the Alistar? In fact, Alistar is the better matchup into the Leona because if you're on top of him, pulverize, headbutt towards your team, you're actually just gone. And so...
And even if Leona engaged, like, Alistar can zone off the backline. So.
Yes. And so if you just lost your lead like that, then Leona becomes giga useless. In fact, during the game itself, you were talking about, you know, it'd be a good pick right now.
Yeah, I was talking about Braum. Like, I was just sad. The Gragas managed to do so many good things in most of the game, and I felt like Braum with Karma, with a strong ADC, like they had Lucian and he managed to be fed in the game, I was just thinking, if there's a bomb in this game and just played correctly towards both sides of the map, they will just steamroll IG for sure. They will have like, what we call like a death ball.
Yes.
And they will just be running over IG for sure.
I think as well, like with the Leona pick, you only go in. There is no defensive kind of setup. It's like Izena played, and then we'll see how the team fight goes. But like you said, I think it was less about the Leona, more about the fact that they just didn't play around Imp on this Lucian. And and actually we just got a heads up of our MVP. I'm going to say that it's probably the most expected
surprise,
ever. Yeah, the biggest
MVP.
surprise ever. Of course, it was TheShy who picked it up. So many solo kills, so many, fantastic plays from him. He just looked unstoppable.
I really like this one. He was very patient, just played very slowly. And
he only waited until the end to utilize his ultimate too, so yeah, he was confident that he can just move up towards the turret and not take too much damage.
yeah.
He even set up this last this is literally the last fight of the game, basically, and he goes in 1v4 and still survives, giving time to his team to actually come in and end the game.
Yeah, he played very good, mostly in the laning, I felt like, and just managed to utilize his lead. I was saying, like while we were watching, that with the lead that Akali got, they just needed to keep on fighting, because eventually, if JDG would have just played slightly better, they would have been able to group more, and if Akali just will get eventually outscaled, because even though Akali is fed, if JDG have the better foreman, more they just R Akali, bail out some time, Akali need to use R in the more they ultimate, things like that, and Akali just cannot teamfight, right? So they need to keep on fighting and find picks. Gragas managed to find a really good pick in the mid lane, for example. This opens up the map, they got tier 2.
That's why, like, for me, we already saw the adaptation that IG made from game 1, because it's incredibly easy to just make an adaptation in the draft and say, well, let's just pick better priority for, or at least better lanes for TheShy. Like, he got that, and so he's happy. But for JD, now that they have to look towards their individual play and now ask for Lumao to be a lot more patient in this game when they have the lead. So that's going to be a big ask here for JD in going into game 3.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see what their adaptation is. We are going to throw it to a quick break, but when we return, we'll have game 3 pick and bans ready for you guys. Don't go anywhere.